Hi, good morning. My name is Ariante, and if you're watching this video, please like and subscribe to my channel so that we can grow together. So today I wanted to talk about feminine submission, and I know this is such a huge topic in the world today. It really is, because we have toxic masculinity, we have toxic femininity, we have too strong independent women, we have docile men, and everything is just everywhere when it comes to femininity and what it is for a woman to submit to a man. So I wanted to make this video because, I'm a single woman. I have a failed marriage, so I can't speak to being the perfect feminine woman, but I can speak to being the perfect feminine woman, like being in my natural state alone and healing from a very toxically masculine feminine dynamic. So I do think that I have some understanding in the instance of women and men and how it could be or shouldn't be, or the safety aspect of woman submission in totality. And so I wanted to make this video because, so the submission, what is the definition of submission? And of course I always read definitions before I make my videos, because I want to make sure that I'm 100% clear and speaking 100% clearly before I talk. And so submission is the act or action of yielding to a superior or stronger force. And so really, submission is always a choice, especially for a woman. It's always a choice for her to submit, and she should always have the choice to submit. But one thing that I realized, especially being single and being in a toxic relationship, is that there's a lot of, I won't even call them men, there's a lot of boys that haven't grown up yet that are using this entitlement of masculinity to think that women should submit to them. And for women, speaking for women, it is a threat to our safety to be feminine and submit to every man just based off of him being a man. A lot of men, and I can't even say a lot of men, there's just a body of toxic men that I'm speaking of. So I'm not speaking of men in totality. There are absolutely amazing men. I meet absolutely amazing men. All of my brothers are absolutely amazing men. So I'm not speaking against men in general. I'm only speaking for the safety of a woman's submission, and that submission is a choice. If I'm going to yield to you as a superior power or authority, then it is because I feel that you are a superior power or authority, and so I am giving my submission to you because I feel like you are one to lead me. A lot of women get into toxic situations because they get with a man based off of what they think he is, and then when he presents himself, they didn't get to know him enough, and they are now in a relationship where he's expecting them to submit. They don't have a voice, like they're losing their voice through his gaslighting and toxic maneuvers and the way he thinks and the way he thinks things should be. Because the truth is if a man does not feel like he is submitted to by a woman and he is an unhealthy man, he's going to attempt to take that submission. And when he attempts to take that submission because you are together and you're not giving him that submission, it becomes a toxic relationship. Now you're in an abusive dynamic, and of course there are roles when this is switched. So I'm not speaking on an abusive woman, because there are very abusive women as well. I'm just speaking to the dynamic of an abused woman with a toxic masculine man. So it is against a woman's safety to submit to man just because he is to be submitted to as a man. A lot of times we don't do enough research and learning of this person. We need to learn how this person is when they are in every area of their life. Do they even have the emotional regulation for you to submit to them? It's so important for us as women, for the safety, especially if we're a single mom with children, to really assess this man's masculinity to see if it's something to submit to before we jump into that submission. If I'm choosing to submit to a man, it is my will that I am submitting. I am giving myself to him, not because he's a man and that's just my role to give to him, but because he's proven himself of respect. A man should get a woman's submission by his respect or his honor, and then she will submit naturally, not because he is just a man or he presents a certain way and she should just submit to him. A woman should know where she is being led before she allows herself to be led. And so now there's this whole idea that a woman with too much opinions, or a woman that, and don't get me wrong, there are very toxic feminine women in this world that are too masculine to be with a man. But if it's coming down to you have a peaceful woman and she just has opinions on things she will or won't do, or she's setting boundaries, you cannot manipulate her or use her submission against her to get her to do what you want, because there's just some stuff she's just not going to do or she's not going to be okay with. And us as women have a right to feel what we will or won't do and agree to what we will or won't submit to. And so one of my biggest mistakes in being in my abusive relationship, and my therapist had to tell me this, was like, me as a woman, the type of woman I am, I was trying to make this man fit a mold that he wasn't, because I knew the type of man I was looking for. And so instead of me leaving him and finding a man that I felt I could submit to, that I felt was worthy of my submission, I tried to make him into that. And I made him into that in my own mind, and it put us in a toxic situation because I wanted him to be different. He wanted to be himself, but he also needed me as a woman to submit to him. So when I didn't, he was very aggressive. He was very angry all the time, which these are issues that he already had, and I had issues that I already had too. It was just a toxic relationship in general on both ends. But with me not giving that femininity, that feminine submission to him and to submit to his will, it made him more aggressive and more angry, especially when it came time to leave. And so for the safety of myself, I have to see if a man is worthy of submitting to before I submit to him. A man has to create a certain environment for a woman to feel like she can let go of that masculine side, because if I'm by myself, I'm paying all my bills, I'm taking care of everything in the world on my own, including my 2 children, without assistance from anyone in my household, then for the safety of my children, I have to have some masculine ways. I have to be a little masculine too. So if a man wants to come and play a role, he can come and I can slowly let that guard down, but it's nothing that I'm just going to give away just because a man comes in the picture, because I have children that I need to maintain the safety of, that I am deciding for and thinking for. And so I just wanted to make this video because I think that feminine submission is such a, I don't even know if cliche is the right word, but cliche. It's a cliche. And we have to be careful as women, because men or boys will come and they will use that against you, and they will say you need to be this or you need to be that, or you're not submitting enough because you're not giving them what they want. And they will use that to manipulate your mind. They will gaslight your own femininity and make it a problem in yourself to where you're questioning if you are woman enough for this man. And that's not the case. That's not the case. A smart and strong woman has to have some walls up. She has to have barriers of protection, especially if she is a single woman in this world, because I'm not going to say the world is a very dangerous place. I'm just going to say you have to consider others' intentions in the way you move, especially when you have children. So for the safety, submission is nothing to give. I got into an argument with someone, and it wasn't even an argument, it was an argument on their point, because I set clear boundaries of what I was or wasn't going to do, and he made it a question of my femininity, because I have to have the decision-making factor. It has to be my way. And to a certain extent, I can give up power and decision-making to a man that I'm going to submit to. But if you're not my man, I don't have to submit to you. I don't have to submit to just every man on the street because he's a man and I'm a woman. That's not safe, and that's not what women should do at all. If I'm submitting, I am giving my submission. I'm giving my own power away to you to make decisions for me, or decisions for us as a unit. But first, I have to let my guard fully down, and I have to know in my heart that you're the man I'm going to submit to, and then we can balance out submission and dominance in that way, in that right. But we got to stop using feminine submission against everything in this world, because it's toxic. It's toxic to think that a woman's position should just be docile and to follow men blindly, because they lead us to hell a lot. And I know plenty of women that can vouch for that. They lead us to hell a lot. So we need to protect ourselves for our safety. And I'm not saying never submit to a man or never submit to a good man. I'm saying do some assessing. Do some assessing before you end up in a very dangerous situation. So That's all I wanted to say. I hope I don't offend anyone or hurt anyone's feelings, because I know men's feelings get hurt a lot when women come to speaking on their opinions, especially when it comes to their submission, because somehow women got taken out of the whole conversation of submission in general. But these are just my thoughts, because it's just the way I think, and it's subject to change. But for me right now, where I am in life, I think that feminine submission is a cliche, and it's something that's used too much, and we have to stop doing that to women, because we're threatening their safety and questioning who they are as a woman every time they don't agree with something. But I love you guys. I hope you have an amazing and peaceful day. I hope the sun is shining, and I hope that blessings and peace are coming to you at an exponential rate. Have a good day, guys.